All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February EAC meeting for the town of McCandless. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First thing up, we have minutes from two different meetings that we need to vote on. First up, the December 2022 minutes. Does anyone have any comments or questions or issues they want to discuss? No, everybody good? Okay, if so, then we'll vote to approve. All in favor of. So I guess we haven't voted on anything in so long. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Do we have a second?
I will second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, those are approved. Same thing for the January 2023 minutes. Any comments, questions? Changes?
I submitted a couple comments. The
Okay.
last version that was sent didn't include the comments, including that the date was wrong.
Oh, whoops.
It was 2022 instead of 2023, so we can, if we can do that, then we're all set.
Okay, so we go ahead and I guess vote on it, the approval contingent on a couple of comments.
Yes,
Okay, then do we have a motion to approve the January 2023 minutes contingent on Dave's couple of comments?
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor of approving the minutes, January 2023, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. Get that out of the way. Next up, we'll go ahead to project updates and discussion items. Yeah, I pretty much kept things on the agenda that I either heard from somebody or I knew there was some activity this month. If you had, I know there were a couple that we've had on there running that I dropped off this month. If someone needs to give us a quick update, we can squeeze that in. But anyhow, Tony, Get Solar program.
Yeah, so we had about 18 that showed up for the webinar.
Oh, great.
Only about 3 applications, and I know there's 2 additional that I know McCandless is waiting on some more information about the building. I think was
Okay.
the information we got. John, is that right?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I think there was they're waiting for the next round. So but there were 2 other entities that we thought for sure we're going to submit. So I'm going to reach out to them,
Okay.
probably give them a call, and then we'll do one more, sort of email blast to see if at least the people that we'd reached out to before, see if we
Right.
can get a couple more. But yeah, so 3 applications.
Is that about normal? Does Leo say that's kind of what they expect?
Well,
Or-
he said they did one in Meadville, and they had 10 applications.
Okay.
So
And
I
how
don't know.
many at the webinar?
I have no idea.
Yeah, okay, that's why I was just kind of wondering
Yeah.
what the correlation was
Yeah.
there.
So our original goal was 10 applications. So yeah, a little underwhelming, let's say, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think one of the things Leo and I talked about was maybe trying to do another round in a few months or something like that. Now that we have some outreach.
Momentum.
Right.
And I don't know if we want to, maybe I'm jumping the gun there, but the speaker series, maybe if we had someone come in and talk about what a commercial setup would look like and sort of walk through the steps, maybe there'd be some more interest there. So,
Okay.
yeah,
And Tony, was McCandless Township was one of the applications?
yeah, so they were going to apply. I was talking to Brian. I think he said he was waiting on some more information about, I don't know if they're doing some upgrades to the building or something like that. So roof age is an important piece when you're
Yeah.
looking at, right,
Right.
applying and
I
stuff.
mean,
So,
that fits hand in glove right in my sustainability. So I mean, that would be a plus.
yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think even if the roof isn't perfect, I think we can kind of go through if the township wanted to, we could go through the Get Solar program and at least get an idea of what kind of costs and, get some bids to see what it would look like. Doesn't mean you have to say yes, right? So I
Right.
don't know. It's up to Brian, but I know he said he was waiting on some information first. So there'll be another round. I think they do it about every 6 months or so.
Mhm.
And then, as far as this round, I think Leo was saying he'll extend it for us in a couple more weeks.
Okay.
Give me a little time to shoot out some emails.
Okay. Okay. No, thank you. Thank you for all the follow-up there.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Trying to get
Lot of
these
paper
guys to
chase.
just fill out the application.
Paper chase.
A lot of paper chasing.
Yeah, because I wasn't able to make the original webinar. Did they stress, just fill out the application and you're not committed to doing anything or?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Leo did a good job going over all the different possible, grants and tax
Okay,
credits and things
okay.
like that. But, I said to him, I said, one thing is it can be a little overwhelming, right?
Mhm.
If you don't know a whole lot about solar and you hear about a REAP grant that might not even apply, especially in this area, where REAP is a rural area, so there has to be lower population. But you start to hear about all these things, and what I was telling him is I think it would be a good idea for the next one to maybe just give an example of what it would look like and walk through kind of what the process looks like, and maybe even what the savings would look like for a single, single example.
Just correct,
It
right.
That's a
wouldn't
good
for every
idea.
business, right?
Yeah,
Good
Obviously,
idea.
and some business might be able to take advantage of certain incentives and others wouldn't.
Mhm.
But I think that would probably sort of simplify because there's a lot of information, and there was a lot covered in that webinar too.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I know that there was some interest. I think it was a Sipple. I don't have the list in front of me, but was it Sipple Industries or something like that? Might be Sipple Construction, but I guess they have a large manufacturing facility,
Mhm.
and he was saying that would be a pretty substantial size solar array. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't know, maybe they'll look into it.
Okay.
Is there a, one time we had talked about like a Chamber of Commerce or
Oh, yeah.
like speaking and, getting the word out to them. John, is that something we know about, or I think I've heard something about that in the past.
Like in the past year and a half, there has been some outreach by Sandy in the manager's office to the local chamber of commerce. But I don't know exactly really what that's gotten us at this point.
Yeah, I
as
don't
far
know
as-
if they're,
I actually meant to reach out to them and I didn't. So that would have been and I remember we talked about it now that you mention it.
all right.
There's
There's something north regional, or
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just McCandless or,
It's North Hills Cranberry area, basically.
yeah, it goes up to Cranberry or something, yeah.
yeah, and I believe they're up off Brook Tree Road. Does that sound right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I Googled them, and I don't know why I didn't reach out to them, but I don't remember calling or anything. That would have been a good one.
Yeah,
So,
even if they have, a newsletter or email blast or something like that to get
yeah.
it mentioned, I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's another Get Solar round. Maybe we focus on that. I think, with us only having maybe 2 weeks or so, it's probably
Yeah.
a little late to try and advertise and
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
now, but yeah, I now that you mention, I wish I had reached out to them. I know that I meant to, but I don't remember them on my list.
I remember at one time somebody was talking about there was also money available to replace your roof
Mhm.
while you're doing that. Am I,
Yeah,
because
so
I noticed the ambulance authority, they already replaced their roof, so I think that's one that Jack was mentioning, but
yeah, so if you were to replace your roof at the same time with installing solar, and the roof has a certain level of reflectivity, I don't know what the level is,
Oh.
but essentially you would purposefully be using the roof to reflect the solar radiation onto the back of what would be called a bifacial panel. So it absorbs on the front and the back.
Huh.
But at that point, you can imagine the roof has now become kind of part of the solar array. So you could get the tax credits for
Oh,
the roof as well.
Oh.
So
oh, I
that's,
see the cost of the roof repair.
yeah,
replace
it.
or like, yeah, if you replace the roof, you would get
Sure.
the 30% tax credit on the roof as well,
Mhm.
since it's considered part of the solar system.
Hmm.
I know Scalo Solar really specializes in that kind of setup. So, but I don't know, exact reflectivity or anything like that.
yeah, maybe the tax credit doesn't apply to the ambulance authority, but if there was some kind of grant,
Yeah.
to money to pay for it, I don't know.
Yeah, well, with the new rules under the Inflation Reduction Act, that 30%, which used to be it is still a tax credit for any profitable company, I guess, but for nonprofits, those who don't have a tax liability, they can actually, I guess, get cash back is my understanding.
Hmm.
I've never seen that actually happen or anything, but yeah, so, and I'm not 100% sure if, you know, if you had like, let's say a lesser tax liability, I'm not sure if you can get cash back that way as well. I'm not 100% on that, but I know that there is a path for nonprofits to now take advantage of the 30% as well. So
Okay, any other questions for Tony? Thank you again.
Yeah,
Lot of
oh, yeah.
effort there.
That's awesome.
Maybe
No
we'll get
problem,
a couple more jumping here at the last minute.
that's right.
Okay, next is sustainability.
Yeah,
Jeff.
yeah, so John and I met, you know, we sort of rebooted the project after the holidays.
Mhm.
You know, we have we have a format from the 2019 standards, a score from the 2019 standards. We have the 2022 standards, which will overlay in those two. John and I both have takeaways. You know, he's going to work on things that he knows that he can answer right away. I'll take a little bit more of the complex stuff and build sort of a table of questions that we can ask. And you know, it's a lot of formatting, a lot of heavy lifting in the beginning. So you know, he has some some duties, and I do, and then I think I'm going to have some deliverables within the next couple of meetings. So
Okay.
I mean, just saying, you know, this is where we are. I mean, you know, we're not here yet, but you know, this is where we are. Like, I don't know that we have at this point a need to talk to anybody after Jim Price or anything like that. I mean, you know, right now it's a lot of busy work, and he and I are going to do that, and then we'll just find out what type of score we would accumulate. You know, based on the 2022 standards.
Gotcha.
You know, let's make sure that we stay within that gold standard. Either we are in that gold standard or we will need to, you know, to get there.
Mhm.
You know, but I think it's important, not from the, and I've asked this question a few times, you know, does it matter at the bond rating level or, you know, what you borrow, you know, cost of borrowing money? No, but it matters at the point where you're applying for grants and different things. So we want to make sure that we maintain that level, that gold standard.
Yeah.
And then, you know, once we get to a place where we know where we are, we can ask where we want to go. So that'll be the bigger picture. And then we'll, you know, sort of ask, you know, through Jack, we'll ask council, you know, do we need to get to platinum? Do we need to maintain gold? Do we, you know, what does it mean for us? And then we sort of have, you know, sort of, you know, we have a blueprint for where to go with this thing.
Okay. It kind
Yeah.
remind me, is this whole effort filling out a database, is that what it is? Is it a computer thing, or do you have to compile a report, or what is the deliverable?
Well, I mean, I wish it was that easy, but we have a good 2019 Excel.
I remember the big spreadsheet. Was that
Yeah,
the final
that's right.
deliverable?
Yeah.
That's
sorry.
not what we would send to them. Like they have like a
Okay.
basic, you know, click on this online
Like a
form.
little check mark.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it doesn't, you know, it doesn't print out well. So keeping
Okay.
a separate spreadsheet is good for our notes and just for us to keep
Got it.
track of as well, which is what we did last time.
Okay,
And then you have to provide them with the proof that you.
Last time we
reached
did, I'm
certain-
not sure exactly the new way of doing that.
Oh, okay, all right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's basically through a website last time you say, hey, here's a web link
hmm
because we proved it this way.
okay, okay.
But Judy, you know, you asked the right question, and this is where the heavy lifting is, where we have this 2019 spreadsheet that, you know, is color coded and it has, you know, we answered yes, and when we were, you know, we were able to achieve this. But then the next one comes in sort of Word format. And now I have to go and I have to, you know, sort of put that in there and say, okay, is this the same question? You know, where are we with this thing? Or is this a brand new question? So, you know, and I was telling John, you know, it's toward the end of winter. I've got some time on this. I can now start to dig into this
That
and
just sounds like, oh.
yeah.
Did the students
Slog.
report help at all? I know that they were trying to match the criteria up.
Is that the report that we're looking at, John?
Is it
I don't know if
the
that is or
report
not.
from last spring, because I thought that's what they were working on.
Right, they took an early stab at least the low hanging fruit for the new.
New
Requirements.
criteria,
I
the
guess that's what the spreadsheet
requirements,
is.
yeah.
And
What's that?
If I had to guess, that's probably what the spreadsheet is that we're looking at.
Well, you know what I'm gonna do, Tony, is I'm gonna send it to you and say, is this what you're talking about? Because I don't know if that work. If they've done work, then we want to look into that.
because I
And-
think they did do the kind of a comparison of what
Yeah,
we met on the old one and the differences in the new one. And
that's right. And they actually have yeah, so in their final report would be more of a summary. And then one of their deliverables was the spreadsheet comparison. And then they also even had well, I don't know if the video would help much, but they had a PowerPoint presentation, kind of, that would be a brief summary. I'm not sure, I can share that with you.
Please.
I thought that I did before, but maybe I did.
Well, but I might not have known what I was looking at, instead of me going and trying to find it, if you could send it back to me, that's great. And then I can share back to you what I have.
Yeah,
Maybe a lot of these things that I'm articulating are already done. So,
yeah, I'll take that out tomorrow morning. I'll send it over to you.
okay,
And I'll include you, John. Yeah.
great.
So I may have missed this, but the new criteria are out and published and,
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
okay. Because I think when the students were doing it, it was kind of,
Yeah,
Kind of early, yeah.
you're right.
I don't know, secret or
They weren't official, let's say,
not,
or
not,
something.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
not for public or viewing
Not
or
for
something.
public
I
viewing.
don't know. But yeah, I guess maybe the assumption is that those pretty much stayed the same.
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering if they're the same or they might be a little different. I don't know.
yeah, because the timing is obviously going to be important here. So, I'll look at the date of the new one,
Yeah,
and share that with you, and we'll see if we match up.
yeah, it might save you some legwork, let's say.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
And obviously, let me know if there's anything I can give you. Really, my knowledge starts in 2019. So
Mhm.
what happened before, John probably has a better database of what's happened than I have.
Yeah.
But please let me know.
Yeah, for some reason, I'm not, it doesn't, it doesn't seem overwhelming to me. I mean, maybe the work is going to be, it's going to be difficult in the beginning, just sort of getting them right format, but
Right.
I mean, the idea of it doesn't seem to overwhelm me for some. I'm like, well, okay, we look at this and we look at this and where are we? And we fall into one category or another. And here's what we were 193 and now we're 178. Okay, what does that mean? And how do we get there? Do we
Right.
want to get there?
Right.
So I just want to get to that point where I can actually start to, we could actually start to make some
Okay.
opinions about it.
When
Yeah.
you're looking back, Shelley's still involved with the township. And she's the one who did it before. So you might be able to, John can put you in touch with her.
So she was CC'd on a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
but she was, she's like, do you guys really need me type of thing? I mean, not in a bad kind of way, but she's like, I think, everything's there. I think she wants to see us try to punch out of a corner and then if we need to come back to her, we will. But
Okay. Just so that you're aware of her.
yes, definitely. And I've had conversations with her.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and her professional background was sustainability, so that's how
Yeah,
it worked out with us. But
okay.
yeah,
Okay, well, thanks for getting that up and moving, Jeff and John, and said anything we can help you with. Let us know, but. Okay,
Mhm.
anything else for Jeff? Good,
I don't think so.
okay, next up is Dave, litter recycling.
Okay, on the litter, we've got pickup scheduled for Saturday, April 15th and Saturday, April 22nd. We're gonna start bugging John about advertising, maybe the end of this month, kind of save the date. And I think last time we did, it was more or less an online type registration and signing the waiver form and that kind of thing. And I think that worked out well. It saves John having to go through telephone messages and email messages and that kind of thing for people that are signing up or signing out. Happens a lot of times, people change plans, but anyway. So we'll start that. I've been in touch with Nicole Farnan of the Activities Committee. They're excited to help out on the event. They listed a couple things that they thought they could do, and one was the pregame breakfast. I don't know if that's both days or just on the Earth Day event on the 22nd. We'll have to see what we get for number of volunteers on each day. I don't know what we're gonna
I
get.
don't know if we get more volunteers if they know they're getting breakfast.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah, could be. They talked about reaching out to REI, LL Bean, Public Lands to see if they would willing to do a giveaway or a table or something like that.
Usually they are, when I've been a race director, we always go to those. And they have built into their budgets,
Right.
money for that.
Okay, cool. But the thing is, if they can do that and we can focus on, planning and organizing and getting the groups together and the supplies and all that kind of other stuff, that would really help. Deb Sagan talked about possibly doing a yoga class either before or after.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm not into yoga, I don't know, but I don't know if
A
it
lot of
would
people
be,
are. Yeah,
again, if it might bring out, some more people.
sure.
If you get sweaty doing yoga and you can go out and get more sweaty picking up litter,
You're
that's
literally
maybe a thing.
Stretching before you start bending.
How you're dressed to pick up litter and the weeds and stuff is not how you're dressed.
Well,
to
no,
yoga.
not normally, but you can throw some sweat.
She talked about prizes. I think we had tried that a couple years ago and it became just a big a lot of work trying to get donations of prizes and gift cards and that kind of thing, and then a kind of a random drawing. John had to kind of manage that whole activity, which was a little bit on the crazy side, but she talked about there's the Northland Public Library is doing a garden gala on the night of the 22nd, which is our second day, I guess. Yes, the second day, Earth Day. It's not really related to Earth Day. I guess it's more like a fundraising event for the
I
library.
think so.
Not sure, but Amy Steele apparently offered to donate tickets to that as a prize.
Mhm.
And then they were talking about prizes for most unusual and oldest piece of trash and largest piece and grossest thing that you get and that kind of thing. So maybe those are kind of fun things. Publicity, one thing that, they rely on John to do publicity for their events. So we're relying on him to do the publicity also. But I think what would really help is if they had a person, and I think it's going to be Nicole, kind of going around and taking pictures of the event, of
Okay,
picking up litter and the folks and, those kind of group shots and that kind of thing that we can use for publicity down the road or as thank you, messages thanking people, that kind of thing. So.
Good.
um,
Can I ask a quick question? Hey, John, is there any way that Nicole or whomever is going to be tasked with that would be able to access the town's social media to be able to do some like live interviews or post, stuff as it's going on that day and not have to wait and have it posted, later on when you're back at work or?
I mean, if there's strong interest, I can try to put that on my schedule to actually come that day, because it's been a couple of years since I've actually been able to make it to one of these, so.
Or like, if we have Nicole, I mean, maybe there's just something to be worked out there, but yeah, we can, I think there's some potential interest in maybe doing that if we can. Unless Dave says otherwise. That's all I got.
Okay. One thing I did follow up on, I got an email back from Christina Connor. She's working with Cub Scout Pack 279. They are going to pick up Potter Park. They're committed for that. She doesn't know exactly what day it's going to be, but they've committed for that. I think another thing we're going to do is kind of cross promote this Lens on Litter contest that PRC, Pennsylvania Resources Council, right? PRC, Pennsylvania
Resources Council.
Resources Council, yeah. That they're sponsoring. This runs through October 31st, so it can be our spring event and our fall cleanup also. I've tried in the past, I've sent the notice about the contest to Mr. Rack at the North Allegheny the Key Club to see if any of the students were interested in that. We hadn't gotten any takers before, but we'll see if, just keep on cross promoting it. If you go on the PRC website, you can see the pictures of the winners from last year. There's, some cool pictures of litter. It's not quite as, they're a lot more dramatic than the pictures that we tend to see around McCandless. A lot of them are, Ohio River, Allegheny River, beaches, that kind of thing. So,
But I think someone with an artistic eye can pick something out of
yeah, sure.
anything.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I
Matt,
never,
do you think that's something we should submit to the Impact Club as something they might be interested in, or does that not really fall within their bailiwick?
No, it may. I mean, I was going to actually suggest if this is a thing that happens annually, we should try talking to, well, I guess I'm assuming that they still have it, but I mean, there used to be a photography class at NA, and we used to have an assignment of like go out and take pictures of mailboxes and things like that. If this is an
Nice.
actual annual thing that happens that could be made part of the like, hey, your assignment is going to be to go take pictures of litter. That might be a really good way to get people involved. So I can talk to Jen Ellen about that and see if she knows if there's any connections, and if the Impact Club is interested in it, great. And if we could try to work it into like actual curriculum somewhere, that'd be even better.
Mhm.
Yeah, and or she can point you to the photography teacher who might,
Right.
just want to do something with that. That's great. Thanks, Matt.
Matt, I'll probably send you some information on that you can pass on to the Impact Club. I'll do the same with Jeremy and his the Key Club again. We have our little litter committee has a meeting set up with Representative Venkat on February 21st to talk about some of the litter issues, regional issues, PennDOT, Adopt a Highway, legislative issues, financing, that kind of thing. Trying to get another meeting with Senator Williams also that hasn't gotten put together yet. Let's see, last thing
Can
is,
I say one thing about that, Dave?
yep, sure.
So I was thinking about the Dr. Venkat, and he represents in our little, our little group, Hampton, McCandless, and Franklin Park. And so we had those EAC get-togethers, and he was responsible for Franklin Park, 390,000 in grants to address environmental concerns. 200,000 to a tributary of Fish Run Stream Restoration Project, 190,000 to the Ramblewood Pond retrofit project. I'm wondering if he would ever attend one of our EAC gatherings. If now we want to make it non-political,
oh, yeah.
but I mean, he seems to represent environmental issues for some of the communities that would be there.
Mhm.
And he might be an interesting person to hear what our concerns are or what we talk about. And
Well, Representative McCurry and his staff, they have done the pickup before
yeah,
in McCandless, so that was obviously a good thing. They kind of cross promoted it on their website. They send out their email newsletters and that kind of thing. They tried to get more of a with him with where's he, Pine and Marshall Township. He was kind of in that. I know the
Right.
districts got
Very
changed
much.
around, but trying to get the other communities to do the same thing that McCandless was
Mhm.
so passionate about.
Yeah. But if we so if we establish a relationship with him
Yes,
at this meeting on the 21st, and if you want us to, we could let him know that there are, multi-community gatherings in his jurisdiction that he may want to attend at some point once we flesh out with the other people if we would want him to attend.
Right, okay.
So that was my thought on it.
I think that would be a really good for everybody.
Yeah.
What we might want to do is just next time we do get one scheduled is go ahead and invite him I know that Jack meets with him periodically, so maybe Jack could even mention it to him in addition, but like for sure, send him an invitation once we have a date on the books. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I
I
think he'd
defer to
probably love
Judy.
to
I
attend.
mean,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
know, your counterparts at the other communities,
Right, and-
you know, it's not our
And I
sort
would
of decision.
certainly check in. We're,
Right.
we don't have anything scheduled. I've kind of put it out there. We'll, you know, start thinking about it as the weather warms
Mhm.
up, hoping one of the
Right.
other communities will step up and host. So yeah, that's a really good thought.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good.
On
Uh,
a side note there, that Fish Run and Ramble would directly affect you, Dawn, because they both flow down into Pine Creek right behind your house.
I didn't realize you were on, Jack. How you doing? Sorry, I didn't mean to
Good.
be speaking for you.
That's fine. I'll
But
help
could
any
you
I
let-
can.
Can you let Ben Cat know that we're going to be inviting him
Yeah.
to our next multi-EAC meeting?
For you, anything.
Thank you, thank you.
Last item is, Judy sent out a little, email to the other EACs that we've been, coordinating with, to get some information, you know, try to get somebody lined up to host the next meeting, and also, hey, are you guys doing anything with respect to spring or Earth Day, or what do you have planned? So we got some really good responses. Ross is doing an Earth Day cleanup. They're also planting a new rain garden. They're performing tree care and invasive species removal throughout San Martino Park. They have a trash pickup on April 22nd that the township organizes. Let's see, Franklin Park is doing a spring roadside cleanup on April 29th. And
Hampton is in the middle there.
Hampton is
Yeah.
March 25th. So the dates go from March 25th
Yeah.
all the way to the end of April, which is cool. I don't think to us, March is still kind of a snowy, rainy type day. Sometimes the ground hasn't thawed out yet,
Right.
but anyway, so we pick the middle weekends of April. One thing,
Who's doing the tree
yeah,
thing?
oh yeah, just Don, we wanted to mention, they did say that Hampton EAC has coordinated a tree adoption event with Tree Pittsburgh on the same day, on March 25th. So I know you in the past had talked about being able to you know, obtain trees, and
Yes, yes.
whether they're giveaways or have some kind of a tree adoption event here in McCandless.
Would you like me to, I guess, respond to Jane here and find out exactly what their tree adoption event means? Is that
It's
Do you know what-
okay.
okay?
I'm
Is-
not in a position right now to work on another new project. That is something I'm interested in. And there's a couple different organizations that work to get organizations like ours free trees and free caging and things like that. But
Well, I was just
quite ready to
curious.
speak on it just yet. So
I was just curious as to what a tree adoption event is. Does that just mean they're giving away trees?
yeah,
Okay,
I imagine that's what it is, but. I mean, I'm certainly glad they're doing it. I'm when I am ready to work on that, I'll certainly reach out. I'll tag you guys for her name again because I'll forget, but at this time,
Okay.
I just can't take on another new thing.
The other thing on the agenda is recycling. I don't really have anything other than PRC does have some live webinars scheduled, one in February and one in March. I've signed up for the one in February on the 21st. There's another one in March. It's just it's an hour long with some of the, you know, statewide experts on recycling, and they have some really good ideas. So I'll just attend that and report back on those.
Okay, and I'm actually attending the composting webinar tomorrow. It's a really, Dave sent me the link. It's very nice. It's a 1 hour webinar. It costs, what was it, $70?
$70, I think.
And it includes a free composting bin.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Right.
Really?
Those are $70.
Exactly. So that's, I thought that was I've been meaning to do that for a long time, and it's a really nice way to get started. So I'll sit in on that tomorrow. And I don't know if you've already done that, Dave, but I can let you know next month how all of that went. And
Yeah. great.
I assume I'll have to go pick the barrel up somewhere, but it was just something to kickstart me into
Yeah.
to starting to do that. So
Judy, it's a nice program and you get a nice bin.
okay, you've done that already?
And my bin is still in good condition. It's a nice bin.
Good
It's
to know.
definitely worth the 70, but yeah, the money, because they're expensive, so.
Right.
Under recycling, I don't know, Jack, did you want to talk about the dumpsters behind us here, or?
Well, Dr. Ropa, Jason Singer and I met with the town manager, Brian O'Malley, after our stormwater meeting last week. Discussed with the residents, and maybe more than just our residents, whoever's putting all the garbage and stuff on the ground and in the dumpsters. And, you know, we heard officially that somebody actually was frustrated that our glass bins were full, so they deliberately dropped their glass and busted it. So we're looking at some interesting alternatives right now. Everybody should be happy with it if it goes through the way we envision it will. They'll still be able to recycle. It just won't be at that location. So it won't affect the looks of our Devlin Park.
Just my observation is there was a sign that was put up that said, "Don't put your cardboard on the ground." And since then, I haven't seen any cardboard on the ground. So I don't know.
Okay.
People are, maybe the cardboard has decreased, the amount of cardboard has decreased, or people are obeying the sign, but even right
Brian
before
and I
the
were
meeting-
actually watching the window. Well, a lady pulled up in her BMW and she got out a big box from a TV, and she walked past that sign twice and laid it on the ground. So they're still laying on it. Just depends on what day you look, because they can fill up rather rapidly. We have it
Yeah.
picked up twice a week, and still it's very difficult to keep up with, especially around the holiday.
Yes.
Right.
If I can, this is Brian O'Malley. Our Public
Brian.
Works is out there, every weekday morning picking it up. So a lot of times weekends is when it looks full and when people put more stuff. But Dave, if you're seeing it when it's clear, it's probably because our Public Works guys spend an hour or two every morning cleaning it up.
Oh, okay. All right. I think that's it for me.
Okay, anybody else have recycling, litter topics, questions? Okay, thanks, Dave. As usual, great work.
I thought the tips in the last mail too were excellent. I just wanted to recognize that the recycling, yeah, they were great.
Yeah, that was perfect timing too.
Well, one thing about recycling, the world of recycling, there's all sorts of information going around, and
Yeah.
what you can do in McCandless might be different from what you can do in Ross or Hampton. And it's just crazy. It's tough to get straight answers,
Right.
And the information that you get from Waste Management is sometimes lagging, what they tell you if you go meet with them. So just try to do the best we can. But there are some, real simple things, no plastic bags, and
Right.
paper has to be big and not shredded up.
Right.
and
Yeah,
that
when
kind
in
of
doubt,
thing.
throw it out. I mean, I thought that was worth a,
Yeah, that's even
Something right
the
there.
folks from PRC, that's what they stress quality over quantity now.
Mhm.
And because just to sort out it's still a,
And
people sorting. I know some places have gone to robots sorting waste, but the single stream recycling. But it's still people that do it.
wow, on Neville Island, yeah.
Down
Yeah.
at Neville Island, yeah.
Well, even that tour, there was information that just seemed, it was hard to follow.
Right.
She said you could have a number 5 tub if it had a lid on it. And I'm like sitting there, "Wait, what does that mean? Right? And she said if it's substantially sized, so I don't know if that's big or small.
Right.
So I was confused just standing there listening to it firsthand.
Yeah, I was reading
Yeah.
something about where they're trying to force the manufacturers just to have number 1 and number 2, because
Mhm.
those are the quality plastic, in terms of the plastics, the quality plastics.
Yeah.
Right.
Because what gets people confused is you see the triangular arrows,
Mhm.
and it might not have a number there, or it might have a 4 or a 3 or a 5 or a 7 or something like that. And people think, oh, I can recycle this, but it's getting so the recyclers only want number 1 and number 2 now, so.
Yeah, that
It'd be nice if they could make the triangles legible. 'Cause half the time
You
you
have to
can't
hold
read
them
them.
to the light.
yeah, you really did. Well, the triangle is actually a polymer industry invention, right? It has nothing to do with recycling.
Oh,
It's the
Oh,
way
really?
yeah,
Okay.
and you can imagine why they did that because they had there was a bad I don't know, they had bad publicity when there was garbage being thrown all over the roads and things. So anyway, this is, I don't know, in the 70s or something, but they decided on this triangular symbol with arrows to represent the different types of plastics. It doesn't necessarily mean that
It's-
all of those
it's
are.
recyclable.
So for instance, like, styrofoam, I mean, it's pretty much impossible to recycle.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you'd still see those arrows on it. It would just,
Oh, really?
um,
Okay.
I don't know, whatever number it would be, but
Mhm.
um,
Welcome to recycling.
it all doesn't make sense.
I know.
At least the metals and glass, that's highly recyclable stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I think it would be a huge shame if we lost glass recycling in McCandless, because I think that's been talked about, and that program that PRC does is just amazing. It keeps the resource in the area, it keeps the jobs in the area. There might be some hiccups along the way, but it's highly successful, at least in terms of what they say.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much. Next up, Wall Park Trail updates. Jack and Ken. Where do we stand?
I guess Jack took a group of you. I wasn't able to go on a walk on that, so. And that's about all I know. I've talked with the rangers in the park about tools, and you can't take them out of the park, and I'll talk to a couple of other groups and see if I can find some tools. So later this spring, we can start doing stuff, but that's about where I am with it now. I don't know what you thought of it when you walked the trail. Jack?
Well, it's pretty easy to see where you've marked the trail, and I greatly appreciate you doing that. I thought maybe I'll take a hose down there when we do start, so we can a little bit more outline what we can do with the crews. Dawn right now is working with the Northern Area EAC, I think that's the title, to try to do a grant to come up with some tools, but I think it's only going to be limited. So we're probably going to need to maybe lean on the county to see if we can borrow some of their tools, at least for weekends. I'm sure they build trails during the week, but we could pick them up. I have a pickup truck. I could pick them up on Friday and take them back Sunday night or Monday morning, whenever they want. And that would be most helpful. If you could help facilitate that, Ken, that would be terrific.
Yeah, Sam said that we can't take them out of the park. But I'll talk with Mark with some of the other trails and stuff like that, that we may have access to some other groups' tools, and maybe even have them help some experienced people come in and help.
Yeah, Dawn was actually going to talk to what was the name of that trail place that you were going to talk to, Dawn?
Well, Trail Pittsburgh.
So maybe they have some tools we could borrow too. Worst case scenario, we just have people show up with shovels.
No, that's a month or two away before you really get into that. So
Yeah.
So that day, there was a group of us and we got to spend it and we walked through Wall Park and then, Jack took me and Dawn through Potter and then down to Vesey. So I got a feel for all the different parks, which I didn't have before. And I believe, Jack, there's the vision sort of, a strategic vision to connect those in some way. And I think that's, that's, there's a tactical and a strategic and I'm interested in both of them, but it's interesting to see how we can connect all those things, within the community. So that's what Jack was laying out that day, I think.
By the way, the trail, Dawn, is 0.97 miles long from Wall Park up to the dump site. So we could say it's a mile. So after we get that mile, then you just basically walk over the Harmony Road and then unimproved Harmony, and it takes you down to Vestal, and it'll take you all the way into the town hall and into North Park, or it'll take you up through Oak Ridge and hit you on 19, and you can go north. And we can hit right into the Commodore Perry Trail or the Rachel Carson Trail, or just continue walking straight up to Zillion Opal if you want to. So it really does, a lot of work to get a lot accomplished.
Jack, what kind of tools are we looking for? Is this something that we could start to accumulate? I don't know. I could reach out to the neighborhood, in my neighborhood, if anybody has these.
There's a specific hoe, and it's probably maybe 18 inches across and maybe 12 inches deep. And then it flips over. One side is a straight hoe and the other side has like two V's, or a W cut into it. And one is for cutting and one is, I guess, for tamping. And it's specially designed so that you can hit into the side of a hill and pull the dirt forward towards you. And that exposes earth that's been there for 1 billion years. So it's already pretty solid underneath. So it's a very specific tool that I've never even seen before until I met with Sam, the park ranger. And so
There are two tools that could be sourced. I think that some people may or may not have, but pickaxes are one that we can use as well, and tampers, if anybody has tampers. They probably don't have the McLeod that Jack just described, but
And I have all that. And I have tamper.
Yeah,
I had
tamper
10
too.
tampers. I've already taken 8 of them to Habitat for Humanity. My parents, don't ask. But I have tampers and mattocks and axes and all that kind of, or picks and all that type of stuff. But nothing like what you said, Jack. When you see this tool, you're like, well, what is that? It looks like it's like, how could that be efficient? It almost looks like a big toy. But it's this thing that is, I guess,
firefighting tool.
Yeah, it's proven effective, and they have 30 of them, sitting there.
I have all that in the back of my truck right
So
now.
that's it.
Okay, so we do have a couple of these, or no?
Tampers?
Oh, so
Of
tampers,
these
we
tools,
don't
no,
have them.
but I have tampers, but it's just a big,
Oh,
it's
okay,
a square.
So Jeff has one, I have one, tampers. I have a Matic. Jeff, you're saying you have a bunch of Matics. It's the
Yeah.
McLeods that we're gonna have to purchase or borrow probably.
Looks like they're about $70 each, at least from what I was just doing a quick search here.
So the town won't buy these, is that correct?
I didn't even bother to ask.
I thought we were swimming in money.
Think again.
Yeah, any idea how many of those we would need? I was just-
Probably 10 would be.
getting a grant. The Northern Area Environmental Council is very interested in giving us some money to buy these tools. So before you go getting too excited, I mean, I'm getting some money for some McLeods.
That's good, Don.
You're not gonna have enough people to.
And I did talk to the activities committee about being the spearhead for creating Friends of Wall Park, Friends of Vestal Park, Friends of Potter Park, et cetera, so that we can have maybe some public input. And then if we have people that are interested in the parks, that'll help us maintain them and keep them clean and keep people, you know, keep extra eyes on it that would report any nefarious activities, et cetera. So I think it's a win-win for everybody if we can get that accomplished. And then they can help us do some publishing on the various methods that we advertise in the town. Of course, John can help too. We spearhead it for both of us, I guess.
So on our walk, we saw some debris down there. We saw a party place and some tires and barrel and other stuff. So
Lots of furniture. Lots of furniture.
A tent.
so we thought that maybe the Boy Scouts could help clean that out. My neighbor, Matt Smith, got me in contact with all the scout leaders in town. I sent a email out to them to see if there was any interest. I got a response back from a scout leader named Mike Okeljewski, Oklejewski. Troop 344 in Wexford is interested in helping out removing that debris and from the woods in there this springtime. So I'm not sure what the next steps would be in terms of logistics, maybe a site meeting. I don't know what the route would be to pull that stuff out.
You'd have to get it down to the gate, and Jack can get the gate unlocked so that you can get it out of there.
Right.
By the way, I did talk to MTSA, asked them to come in and remove the few of those big trees that have fallen on their right of way, which is kind of above the valley there, that one little section, and they've agreed to do that. If we can get it up there, I can pull in with my truck and I can throw it in the back of the truck and then take it down to the town dumpster.
So I just sent this email out on Sunday night and I got a response back from Mike Monday or Tuesday, I guess. I'm gonna wait a little while and see if any of the other scout masters are interested. This really isn't something that I can take on, so I'm looking to hand this off to either Jack or,
Yeah, if they can coordinate with me, that's fine.
okay, or
Great.
Ken, if that's cool. Okay, good.
That's great.
At least it'll make the walk a little more scenic, I guess.
Definitely. No, that helps. Okay.
Well, I
Great.
would recommend that you tell them if anybody comes down there to
Okay. You
haul
can go
stuff
ahead.
out. I was gonna recommend that if anybody goes down there to work, that they wear muck boots, because typical boots aren't enough.
Okay, and then the last thing I would have is on our deer program with Suburban Whitetail Hunters this last year. The first year, last year, they harvested 19 deer in the township, and this year they more than tripled it up to 64 deer. There's still way too many deer out there, and it's partly getting, Suburban is working on getting the guys that will spend time and harvest deer. But I think a large part of it too is we need to continue to do landowner education, because there's a lot of landowners that are letting people hunt, but the guys that are hunting there are just interested in shooting a trophy buck and, so we're not getting the deer population control, which is harvesting mature does. So they did a great improvement this year, and we'll do what we can to help them to move along this next year. But I think we also need another leg of that is, as we're talking with people about encouraging them about the damage that the excess deer population does, as well as the, road car incidents, and encouraging people to allow hunting and to encourage the hunters to harvest mature does. So we're moving in the right direction, and we'll see if we can pick things up this next year.
Hey, Ken, I have a question for you. Is there a way we could coordinate between our group, Suburban Whitetail, and the people that do North Park? I was on Coomer Drive up by Beauty Drive, up by, I think it's Greenbrier, up towards where you turn in to go into the golf course. And I must have saw 30 deer between the two properties. And, that's right where the township line is. I don't know, could we coordinate so that we could get a bunch of hunters to go in there and do something next year?
I'm going to be talking with Andy, and he's going to be sending me a report what the whitetail hunters did in North Park this last year. But that's something that getting suburban whitetail hunters and the whitetail hunters that are in the parks, getting them to coordinate that portion where you're talking up there. Part of that's McCandless and part of is North Park, and trying to get the two groups to work together is something that hasn't happened yet, and there seems to be a reason why that I am not aware of.
It makes sense, because if the whitetail goes into North Park, they run over to McCandless, and then those hunters leave, and then suburban whitetail goes to McCandless and they run over to North Park. So it's not too effective.
Yeah, and that's been one of the issues with over time, as the deer knew that the hunters were in North Park. And then in North Park, they don't hunt during rifle season because they're required to wear the orange, and they don't want to be in there in orange and the public see them hunting. So they just don't hunt during rifle season. So then all the deer that are in McCandless and the McCandless hunters are hunting end up in the park, and they just go back and forth.
Is there any way we can get a number on the amount of deer we have in McCandless from the Game Commission?
The only way they do those population things is from road kills and seeing how many fetal, how many fawns are in road hit deer and stuff like that. Our population is well past anything that is acceptable. There's no regeneration in the forest. All of our edible wildflowers, blackberry bushes, all that stuff's wiped out. There's no regeneration. I'm going to be working with some people, with a couple of groups in North Park, on trying to reestablish some of the forest in North Park, because there's no regeneration and the big trees are falling down. That's something we all need to be aware of, that the deer have done tremendous ecological damage.
But they're so cute.
We all love to see them until they're in front of the hood of our car.
Yeah.
Or eating our stuff.
One thing I remember from last year, we had some information out about feeding stations like in your yard. And I know a house down the street from me, they had a feeding station in the backyard and last year, and I think they didn't have it this year. So I don't know if that was just recommendation, or was that an ordinance, or it was an ordinance to not feed the deer. I'm not sure if maybe that's something we can highlight in a tips, or maybe there's some deer data that we can provide on tips or something like that.
The reason for not feeding in deer in the backyard is basically twofold. One, it's attracting deer into the neighborhood where you're going to have more likelihood of deer car incidents. And the other is you're causing a concentration of deer, which is where you're going to have diseases transmitted. And so that's why you're trying to avoid that concentration and build up in one spot.
But that's a great idea for tips, right? I mean, or
Or
I
is
mean-
it like too late? Should we have done it more
It's
at
still,
the beginning of the season?
this is where deer will,
Or maybe you can report on how many deer, they got.
but actually, since it's an ordinance, it probably should just come from McCandless in the newsletter or McMail. I mean, it's not just a tip, it's a responsibility. It's a law.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not up to us to just suggest it. Maybe it's up to the
I think we could still use our space.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I think it's a worthwhile topic. In fact, could we talk Ken into doing it this month?
You knew that was coming, Ken. You know what this is all about, right? I mean,
Setting you up, Ken.
you have to do it twice a year, so.
No, if
I
you
think
would
it's,
mind,
it's a good story.
Yeah,
yeah. And you can, kind of tout the improvements and whatever you think the public should hear.
Well, even if you put out a salt lick, that's very bad for the deer because that's how they pass disease amongst each other. So even though our ordinance might say no feeding deer, some people might feel that they're providing mineral nutrients to the deer by putting salt. They can be very dangerous to the deer. So we can include something about that.
absolutely.
No, thank you, Ken.
Okay, I'm done.
Next up, community outreach, Matt, STEM programs.
Yeah, so I think we need to find a new name for these, but I've been reached out to Jan Allen Lombardi, our contact with the Interact Club at Nash. She said that as far as the drains, the catch basin stuff goes, it's going to be better for them to get that in March for their March meeting anyway. So if that's not done for the February 14th meeting, she said that's actually better. It's pretty full right now anyway, and they'll get more attention on it in March. So that'll be good if we can do that. She also said that she felt that there would be interest in the trail building if we wanted to get students involved, that she felt that she could probably get a small group of kids from the Interact Club, but she would also put it out to the goal kids who need service hours, and there are some National Honor Society kids also looking for service hours that are nature lovers, that she felt that they would be very interested in that particular type of thing. So I'm going to give her the dates for the litter cleanup. Once we have the tools and stuff for the trail building, I'll give her that information as well. And I'll be asking her about the art and photography teachers to see if there's any interest in getting them involved in this Lens on Litter competition as well.
Right. And I want to thank you too, Matt. Matt did put together a project form. I believe I did send it out to everybody. I know it was last minute. It went out last night. Just to, once again, a formality to document that this is now an ongoing project. It does involve the students and our committee. So did anyone have any issues or questions or additions to that project form? Did it look okay? Because if so, I would like to vote on this so we can hand it to Jack and Jack can take it to council. So do we have a motion to approve the project form as submitted by Matt?
I'll make a motion.
I second.
I second.
All right, great. Then all in favor of sending this form on to council for approval, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, thank you very much. Then I will sign this for EAC, and Jack, I will get a copy to you if you could take this to council for us.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. And I do have the item in there for catch base and decal video. Dawn and I, just between the weather, Anytime we had hoped to have time to get together and do some filming, you know how nice the weather's been this winter, especially on the weekends. So we have not gotten to that. I did bring some show and tell for anybody that hasn't seen what these decals are. I have the box of materials, but these are what
Mhm.
the decal. I don't know if anyone's seen these.
I have seen those.
And so I looked, the box I have, I haven't counted them all up, but I'm guessing we probably have around 100 of these. But the one thing I'm concerned with is we've only got about 7 unopened things of the adhesive. And as I recall, when I did this, I put out maybe 20 and probably went through 3 of these. So I have a feeling we may be somewhat shy on being able to put all of our decals out. I mean, obviously we can start small with a couple of kids whenever we can get this thing going, but I'm going to have to look into how much it would cost to buy more of this stuff. I believe to get everything out that we
I
have.
think Jeff got it from somebody for free, right?
That's
That's what I thought, but that was a few years ago.
right. And I actually have at least as many opened ones. Some of which may be okay, but I'm assuming they are probably not. This is one of the better ones. And then I know I had trouble when I was doing it. I think there was one of the ones I squeezed it and the bottom split out.
Mhm.
And they were kind of a mess. But one thing I will need, I think we had talked about vests and gloves.
Mhm.
Do we have a supply of, this is what they gave us. I would recommend not getting black because the adhesive is black and then you don't know that you have it on your gloves and you get it all over yourself anyway. So I don't know if we can use any of the gloves we have from litter pickup or if I should just go pick up.
I have gloves that either Dave gifted me or somehow I ended up with for the rain garden that would probably be good for that. They're white and orange.
Okay, I know which ones you're talking. They have kind of the plastic palm.
Yes. And they're
Okay,
not so great for the rain garden, but would probably be great for this. So I can definitely get you what I have there that
okay.
someone had gifted me. I've got 1 or 2 nice packages of, I'm gonna guess maybe about 20 to 30 gloves. I'm
Oh,
guessing.
I would think that'd be more than enough.
Yeah, so let me get that to you then, Judy, and we can maybe go from there.
Okay, and the other thing would be vests, if we still have some of those disposable vests we use for
Yeah.
cleanup.
I have the orange gloves and I have
Okay.
those the big bulky gloves that PennDOT gives us.
Yeah, they're probably not gonna work
And
well.
I have a whole box of vests. Those things they're all in my garage. So just
Okay,
let me know when and where you
when we
need it.
distribute, okay, well, that's good. I just wanted to see if there's anything I needed to purchase or if we thought what we need. And another really cool thing I found in the box that I didn't know was there. There's stacks of these cards from Three Rivers Wet Weather.
Yeah.
That this is a magnet.
Oh,
So we've got some nifty little handouts.
um,
If this Three Rivers Wet Weather still a thing,
Yeah.
I guess
I see.
so. What are all these cards at the bottom? And they're all magnets, so we can have some little giveaways that next time we have a table somewhere.
Yeah.
And I also, and Dawn, I don't know if I sent this to you, they do have pretty detailed instructions on how to put these in there, so.
And I'll reach out to you after tonight, Judy. We can talk about when we are going to get together. I've got some dates in
Okay.
February, weather permitting, hopefully that, and then I need to get you lights from the Christmas tree. And then if I could just make a mention, Jeff, you had asked about the Winterfest ornaments. You said, oh, can we not use them year to year? I tell you, I got the ornaments back from this year. You should see the sad return I got in the box. Very few ornaments, and the ones that are in there are completely destroyed. But so I don't know something about having them outside. It just really takes the toll on the
Mhm.
decorator.
Sure, yeah,
Whatever. It's all good.
okay. That's all I had for community.
Okay.
outreach. Sorry, sir.
Hey, Judy,
Yeah.
Judy, I sent everybody a picture of the sticker that they use for no dumping in Pine Township. And it's very different than what we're suggesting. It's actually made of metal. And
Yeah.
it somehow has a clip underneath it. So I think it'd be a lot more durable and probably a lot less messy and problematic. So
It's got a
I
number
don't know who,
on it. The only thing I
Yeah,
would
I don't know
worry
if they-
about that, is that it's great, it'll stay, but it's gonna take some of your capacity away from your inlet. This is covering up some of your inlet. I know it's hard to
Yeah.
tell.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, but
Size
it's gonna
reference.
last. I don't know if it takes up that much,
Yeah,
maybe
because these,
two
I've
square
been
inches.
meaning to go take a picture of ones I put out 3 years ago, and these don't last. I'd say their lifespan that you could still read them is about 2 years.
Yeah,
Oh, that's,
agreed.
yeah.
The ones that are 3 years old, you can't read them anymore.
Mm.
They kind of get a white film on them, and they're not legible.
They
So,
essentially become litter.
yeah,
Well, they actually just blend in with the asphalt behind
Mhm.
the inlet. You just, because I drive by and think they're gone, and then stop and look, and they're there. They're just kind of gray and kind of blend in with the background.
At least the students will know where to put them.
yeah. I mean, that is something to think about, though, and I know that you all can't see it, but Mr. O'Malley actually posted in the chat as well a link to like the kind of stencil version of this. Where you'd put that down and then you would paint over it so that it would be painted on, which I know again wears off eventually, but at least when that wears off, it doesn't become a piece of trash that needs to be thrown away. I don't know if we want to consider that at some point. I know right now we have these materials, so we want to use them. But I don't know if there's something to consider that as well. I mean, the metal ones I think are going to last the best for sure, but
Yeah, true story. I like the stencil one though. I've seen that before. That is nice. That catches your eye at least.
Yeah.
I'll forward that link to everybody through email as well.
Okay. No, thank you very much. But yeah, if I still think we should make use of the ones we have. If we can
Yeah,
get
if they're
them
gonna
out there.
last 2 years, I mean,
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Okay.
and we're mostly putting them in, like, in the neighborhoods where people would be more likely to change the oil in their car and think about dumping it in a catch basin, so rather than on, kind of the main drags, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
And
and
can I?
Matt- Oh, sorry.
Sorry, this is Brian again. I just wanted to throw out an idea, and this is probably, something that could happen in a few years, but when I was working in Avalon, I was the MS4 coordinator. So one of the things we did was teach the fourth graders. We went over to Avalon Elementary and taught the fourth graders about stormwater, particularly catch basins, and they all had to do a project on it, which was kind of a good way to start teaching parents via their students about this. But a lot of good came from that. So I'd love to think about how we get to our youth at some point for these type of lessons and how that really kind of expands to the rest of our community through that. So just a thought. I'd love to get to that. Maybe that's a next year project, but just wanted to throw that concept out there.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think that's kind of the ultimate goal of our current outreach into the schools, is that we want to eventually make this not just something that is where we're interacting with the after school clubs, but we're actually getting into the curriculum at the high school level, middle school level, and elementary level. It's just a matter of chipping away is I think what we're getting at right, or is what we're doing right now. But I totally agree. That is our path right there.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Thank you very much. That's all I have for community outreach. Going down to miscellaneous. Well, EAC student member or associate member is, I guess, kind of related to the STEM programs and is included in that project form. I still have the description of the junior council person program that I keep meaning to take a look at and start to kind of tailoring that description so that we can start looking at it. Matt, have you seen this? You can get it it's on the McCandless website. But I will send you the information I have here and a link to the website. And if you and I can both, I guess, start looking through there and thinking about, which components of this we can still use and how we may need to change the program to suit us. That at least gives us a start.
That sounds great.
Okay. Next up, the McMail tips. We've already got our volunteers, so we're good there. 2022 annual report.
Can I say something?
Oh, yeah.
The recycling tips, we
Yeah, go
we
ahead.
talked about adding a recycling tip each time, and maybe, John, we can hit on the at your door, a reminder on the at your door, and I'll look into if anyone has has waste pickup events for like apartment dwellers and that kind of thing that are not on the waste management system, see if anybody has anything coming up in the spring. Maybe that's a good idea to repeat once a year, every 6 months.
I
or
just
so.
had at my door this past Monday.
I did too.
Fantastic.
It was-
Yeah, did you?
Electronics.
Yeah. Paint, electronics, TV. I mean, it's wonderful. Just cleans out your garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, people might be doing that. Springtime is,
And no one's gonna do batteries. The one thing is, and I did this because I have time now, but you have to tape both sides of the batteries. And no one's gonna, I mean, it's just tedious work. So it's just gonna be,
That's only for lithium batteries.
if you tell me that.
We're reading through that.
Exactly. Thanks. I'm gonna go back and look at that.
I'm about 98% sure.
All right.
Maybe, but we used to have a recycling at work for batteries and they would make us tape both ends of the double A's and triple A's we'd put in the bin. So I don't
That's
know,
what I
it'd be a
did.
thing.
That's
Yeah,
what I did.
it
I'll
is
check it.
tedious.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Okay, anything else on
no,
on
sorry.
tips? No, that's good. 2022 annual report. I believe we've done everything we can do with this one, unless there's any additional comments. If no one has any comments, I would like to put this up for a vote to approve. So do we have a motion to approve the 2022 annual report as written and distributed?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Great. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Great. We've got a motion and a second. So vote all in favor of approving the annual report 2022, please say aye. Raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. It is accepted. Jack, I can send this to you. Would also like that to be presented to council. Just as record of what we've done, and John, if we can get that maybe on our website, that would be great.
Consider it done.
Thank you. Okay, next up, just a reminder, EAC Network Conference is an online event coming up on February the 25th. That's a Saturday. And I think I've probably sent links out to that. If I haven't, but I probably did several months ago. That's through, who's the EAC network?
I don't know this.
I'll have to send that out.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that.
Okay, maybe that was
recently.
last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I
So
don't
what
think you sent it.
Okay, what that is, that's a 1 day virtual type seminar. I believe it starts at 9 a.m. and goes through about 3 p.m. I think they have a morning plenary session and then some breakout sessions, various speakers. That I think they end up with a total of maybe 4 sessions broken up over the day. And really, there it
We
is.
can
Thank
serve
you.
PA?
We can serve
Okay, all
PA.
right.
Thank you. You've got it.
You were right, 9 to 3:30 PM and February 25th.
Yep.
35.
And I believe we've already passed the regular registration. Registration now is $50 a person. Generally, I've kind of made it a goal that we have at least one person that signs up for this every year. And what happens when you sign up? Even I signed up 2 years ago. Dawn did it last year. When I did it, I couldn't give them the whole day, but I sat in on the afternoon programs. And as long as we have one person that's paid to attend, then we can share all of the videos and materials with the entire committee.
Oh, that's good.
And they're available to everybody. So really all we have to do is pay for one person to attend, and we can all go back and view as we can. So
Well, they have a meadow management breakout session. They also have a stormwater tread befriend task force. Looks like a stormwater breakout session. Pollinator friendly ordinances. 10-year plan for zero waste. They have a basin naturalization. I'm not sure what that means. And they have an energy transition funding. Oh, basin naturalization has to do with stormwater management as well.
Okay. Okay. I will send that link out again. And I think if nobody else is interested in attending, I can sign myself up. I may be able to sit in on part of that day. I don't think I'm available the entire day, but then we can share the link.
Judy, maybe we could split the day. Maybe I could do one session, you could do the other.
Okay.
It might help both of us. You know, I would love to do it, but yeah, it is a lot to sort of give up the whole day.
Right. So
But if you want to tag team it,
that works. Okay.
I'm in.
All
Unless
right.
somebody else wants to step up, that's fine too, you know. Abdicate vacate my spot if somebody else wants to do it, but if not, I'll do it.
But I think it's just it's good for us to appear there because it's virtual, but it's on Zoom and you can kind of see the other organizations that are represented. And at least my experience 2 years ago was myself and a guy from Cranberry were the only people that weren't from Eastern PA. So
Oh, wow.
I was
There last year. Yeah.
So. Okay. Thank you. And the last item, just a reminder for project forms, and thank you, Matt, for going ahead and doing yours. I really appreciate that. As I put together the annual report, I realized how many new projects we've been working on. And I have not been following up with just getting these forms together for our new projects. That's all.
So since mine isn't a new one, since mine is.
Yours is not.
Okay, good.
Are there any that we're missing forms for? Do you know?
Well, we have not done one for our solar event.
Okay.
Well, I think when I sent the earlier versions of this out, I had some red notes next to the project saying, yeah, we probably should do the forms for that. So I think if we go back and do more rain garden programs, we should do that. I think we probably should for trail building for Wall Park. As we put together, as we actually have a program put together to do that, I think we should do that as well. If we do the stream cleanup, you know, any of those new programs, I believe that involve any kind of a budget and or public involvement.
Right.
We should have that documentation, and just so council knows what we're up to.
Agree.
And I'm happy to help anybody with putting the report together. It's not too difficult. Just have to remember to do.
I also want to throw in, when you guys do the rain barrel type stuff or anything that's kind of related to stormwater that is educational, those are credits the town can get in our MS4 program. So those are things that we can throw in our other books that we have to show DEP when they come in and look.
Right. Okay. Very good. Okay, that's all I have for our topics this month. If anyone wants to throw out a topic that we should handle next month.
Just a quick reminder, Matt sent an email out earlier regarding the career speaker series with, was that Jane Ellen Lombardi? So if anyone's interested in signing up there.
Yes,
I know
thank you. I meant to remind folks about that when I was doing my thing, and I totally slipped my mind. But yeah, and if you have questions about it, it's being sponsored by the school. It's essentially a situation where they want to get as many people talking to these kids about as many different career options and choices as they possibly can. It's all virtual. It's done during the lunch periods, I believe, at NAI and Nash. And so, yeah, if you're interested, I would say reach out to them, or just there's a form you can fill out. They have on it like the days and times. And for me, it's like, well, I'm available any of these days, but the times are different every day. So I kind of just wrote a little message to them within the form that said, hey, you're gonna have to contact me so that we can work out this specific times. But yeah, I think they're just looking for volunteers that are willing to talk to the kids.
Yeah, the days are Monday through Thursday, March 6th through the 9th. So any, there are 4 sessions like Matt mentioned, and then March 13th through the 17th. The sessions are, I think it looks like lunch periods. They're half-hour sessions. So basically from 10:40 to 1:20, and there's 4 separate sessions in between there. So yeah, but if you click on the link, there's it's an easy little Google Doc, a Google form, and it takes like 2 minutes to fill out.
Yeah.
Do they normally fill the slots? I'm sorry, Matt. Do they normally fill the slots, or are they like really looking for people?
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'll reach out to.
Yeah, we haven't had any contact with them about this in the past. This is our first experience with it. So
Okay.
I don't have any idea if they film or not. I know that they explained in the thing it's a basically 20 minutes of you talking about it, and then 10 minutes for the students to ask questions is how they kind of fill the half hour. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right, thanks. Next up, Jack, do you have any additional reports from town council?
I do. The town council selected a replacement for Kim Zachary in Ward 1, and that is Mary Ann Eisenreich. And she was not only selected, but she was actually sworn in 2 Mondays ago. Was it maybe 3 Mondays ago? 2 Mondays ago, I think it was. So she's actually in office. If anybody has any reason to contact her, it would be Ward 1, townofmccandless.org.
Okay.
That's
No,
about
that's
it.
good to know. Thanks.
All right.
All right, next up, public comments. Brian, thank you for joining us at our meeting tonight. It's always nice to have other folks join us. Do you have any questions or comments or anything else you'd like to bring up?
No, I just hadn't had a chance to attend one of the EAC meetings yet, and just wanted to thank you guys for all you do for our town. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there tonight. My schedule doesn't work out to be there that often, but I figured I could call in tonight, so that's why I was trying to participate a little bit more.
Well, really appreciate it. It's nice to have you here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other topics of discussion, we're right. We have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, good night.
Good
Thank
night,
you,
everybody.
good night, everyone. Thanks.
Take care, guys.